This is Comet Picks by the Glick.
Hey, I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hey, Jason Glick. How's the heat?
About as well as you would expect being based in Southern California, which
Yeah.
is basically say it's terrible, but it's like I'll just manage it by just not going outside, which is kind of how I usually manage things.
All right. Well, hey, we can't do too much about the heat except turn the air conditioner on if you have good luck. And then, what do you have to talk about tonight?
Okay, well, it's not going to be east of west because that series is still like on a back order, it's like hopefully I'll be able to do it next time. But this time though, it's a series that I wasn't expecting to talk about, but hey, it's like it fits the bill because it's a series that whose last volume I got my most recent order of comics. It's like writing about for like since it came out. It's called Ether by Matt Kindt and David Rubin. Now, longtime readers and listeners may recall that, I've talked about stuff that Kindt has done before, specifically Mind Management and Department H. Now, those are two series that it's like that, kind of more impressed me for their formalist aspirations, especially the way they used the comics format more than the stories they told. And also for the fact that in the case of Mind Management in particular, how their first volumes didn't quite wow me. Those their subsequent volumes actually like made a more favorable impression, like on me as from that point. But Ether Ether was the first Kindt series that I've read where the first volume actually won me over. It's like because this is a series that Kindt has basically said had was basically designed to address his issues with the fantasy genre, and because he's for instance he's kind of much more like rational thinker, the kind of guy who wants there to be a reason for everything. And so the fantasy genre where the explanation is like, hey, magic. Well, it's like he wasn't big on that. So basically he came up with the idea for Ether. Basically it's about a scientist named Boone Diaz who comes from our world to investigate the magical world of the ether, which is basically the collective magical unconscious of humankind. And and Diaz is like his he basically investigates this world, just trying to figure out how it works, and not just to not in the sense that he's trying to disprove the existence of fantasy, but he just wants to find out how everything works. What are the rules behind fantasy? And it's actually like a pretty interesting it's like way to approach the series, and that's kind of like how it got me involved invested in in this first volume called The Death of the Last Golden Blaze. The Golden Blaze is the protector of the ether, and she her most recent incarnation has just been murdered by unknown parties. Boone, along with his disgruntled partner slash guardian of the gateway between Earth and the ether, Glum, it's like is are trying to figure out just who who could have who could have done this. It's like and their it's like and their explorations to take them all around the ether and also back to back to Boone's place in in the real world, because even though he's a well respected man of deductive logic and reasoning, in the ether, in the real world, well, he's a homeless bum living in Venice, because where at one time our world was looking to investigate this, um they've since withdrawn their resources, and Boone is still determined to plumb like you know the plumb the depths of the ether and what it has to offer on his solely on his own terms. And this has also been led to a estrangement from his family, from his wife, who visited the ether as a child, and realized that after time passes much faster in the ether than it does in the real world. And after this caused 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 some consternation when she disappeared there as a child, and then when Boone like found out about this and tried to and wanted to explore it himself. Well, it's like he found something that he was much more invested in than being a proper family man. Even when his wife, even after he married his wife, after she became pregnant with their two children, and as the first volume shows that that he's given himself fully over to exploring this at the expense of everything else in his personal life. Now, this is I think that Kindt did a good job of selling a lot of this stuff in the first volume, just setting up Boone's like arrogant, sanctimonious, but smart like protagonist, and also just like showcasing like what it has cost him along the way. Volume two didn't quite manage the same level of impressiveness in the sense that, well, I want to know just like what else had like how this cost him with his what was his relationship with his daughters like in this like as a result of this. And volume two only makes a token nod towards this like at the beginning and at the end. And when the whole plot of this it's like of volume two is all about just figuring out, these portals open up between the between like ether and our world, and they need to be shut down. Well, it starts off well enough in the sense that like Glum, it's like Boone and Violet Bell. She's the fairy, a Boone's fairy contact like in the ether, and she and Boone have kind of a love hate relationship going in the sense that she does find him attractive, but she also realizes that his arrogance, his single mindedness in in approaching things, the sense that logic, it's like logic and a willingness to talk things out will solve everything, but no, it doesn't, and we find out exactly how that went wrong over the course of volume two. But it starts out with all of them teaming up to rescue Grant. It's like Grandor. It's like a bull-like human who who's been imprisoned, been imprisoned in a magical prison. It's like, and they've got to get him out. That part's fun, but and so are like ways in which they deal with like the closing like of each portal. But it's just kind of like the plot feels like it's just like, it's just all about the closing of these portals. There's no like greater significance beyond just like that. These are meant to be detrimental to like the health of the ether and Earth. How so? Well, we're not exactly told. It's just kind of a like a MacGuffin device saying that this is all this is the thing that needs to be done, so everyone needs to go and do it. And what turns out that there's all the distraction to allow the nefarious Lord Ubel, like the manager of the library within Etham, the repository of all accumulated knowledge, to usurp the role of Golden Blaze. It's like at the end of volume two. Ubel is, well, he's a villain. Yeah, it's like, I mean, evil McShifty Pants be a good way to describe him, like based on his appearance and the fact that that as opposed to everyone else whose dialogue is just like black text on a white background, his dialogue is white text on a black background. So you know that he's the bad guy, really. So that's kind of where things are, where things sit at the end of volume two with Ubel Ascendant and Boone and his friends, like on the back nine, and but also well, Kindt also kind of like writes off like Boone's connection to the real world, like at the end of volume two, and so volume three, starts off with him, like going full repentant monk, by shaving off his head. Well, which we're told is like because of like it's magical lice, but it's like really it's like the only reason you shave your head in it's like it's like it's like in a story is to show your repentance, but it's not too long before he's offered a chance to like make up for like his past errors after Violet's father visits them to let him know that like his daughter has been kidnapped by parties unknown, and so Boone has to like reenlist Glum's help to find out just what has happened to their former friend, and the ensuing quest leads them to like the seven lucky gods of the ether. It's like a it's like a master assassin trained by the cannibal club of the world, like who's been housed in a sarcophagus like armor. That's a and then like they'll have to sail through the seas of living blood, like all sorts of like crazy magical stuff. But also it's going to lead Boone to realize that hey, it's like maybe it's not all about me sacrificing everything for my betterment. It's all about sacrificing everything I know for the greater good. It's fine. I mean, I don't think that Kindt has really delivered a story that's like really impressive in terms of like sheer plotting. It's more or less it's like the execution, the trappings or the world building that's made it work. And while my management and Tart and H were notable for their use of like the whole hog in terms of like using all parts of the comic in order to like deliver some like impressive visuals and whatnot. Well, Ether has a much better weapon than either of them does. It's got David Rubin. Rubin is one of the best artists working today in the sense that he's a guy who just can make anything it's like look impress like look impressive, look like wild, like really imaginative. I mean, he first came to my attention like illustrating Paul Pope's Rise of Aurora Rest graphic novels, but his work on Ether, where he's given the job to like imagine it's like a completely a magical, irrational world, is truly fantastic. I mean, much as I like his work, like his contributions on Black Hammer or the back half of uh, it's like of or of Rumble, Ether it's like is probably the series where he's most able to strut his strengths. Just the way that he can like he's been given to draw like a magical prison. It's like a wild like fairy forest, or even like a labyrinth with the scarab warrior at its center. The visuals and Ether, like even if like, you're not like a one for like Kindt's writing, I think that Rubin does an excellent job of selling everything that Kindt is trying to get across here. I mean, there's a point in Volume One where um, we see like Boone like leaving his family over and over again, and it's done over the course of like what just one page, and it's just like a really well done like well done ongoing thing that shows him that not just shows you like how he's feeling the present, but also just how he got to that point as well. And it's just a really it's like really well sketched laid out scene that nails that that presses on a visual and emotional level. It's like so yeah, it's like just looking at like everything that Rubin has to offer here. It's really impressive. He's the guy who can like even if Kindt doesn't quite get across like the emotional stuff in his writing alone, Rubin is there to just try and sell it like on the strength of his art, and that I think is really impressive. And in fact, like I said, so really, it's like I think that if you're a fan of great art, then yeah, you owe it to yourself to pick up these three volumes of Ether and just gaze in awe at what Rubin does here. If you're a fan of Kindt, well, speaking as someone who has read through Mind Management and Department H, I honestly think that Ether may be the most accessible of those series. Not just because of like it's only three volumes, but also just because I think the like Rubin's art makes it like a lot more appealing prospect to like to dive into, to makes it more accessible than Kindt's work. Because while I think Kindt's art impresses on a formal level, like he's never really been quite unable to connect on an emotional level, like with his characters in his art. But Ether, I think is like I think that it even if it's got some problems, if it's not even if it's not extraordinary or like thoroughly like invented in its overall plotting, its world building and the idea and the idea of like a scientist investigating the irrationality of magic and trying to make it logical. I think that he makes it work over the course of these 3 volumes. But this is in the end, this is a series where the art outstrips the writing. But in the end, like the writing wasn't bad. I mean, maybe it's like sure there are some it has its faults, and I think that maybe um, there were some that Kent may wanted like to the chance to do another volume here just to give the series some more room to breathe at the end. But overall, it's like I do recommend Ether, and if you can't pick up like all 3 volumes like all at once, like they're let's see, they are let's see ah this is interesting. Volume Volume 1 is $15. Volumes 2 and 3 are $20 each. Were I a betting man, I would think that Dark Horse may be prepping some kind of 3-in-1 omnibus down the road. But it's like if you don't want to wait for that, then I wouldn't. I'd say that picking them all up right now wouldn't be like the worst use of your funds. It's a good series, like not the best, but definitely fun, very good looking, and it has definitely has its imaginative moments in the course of its building its weird magical world. So there you go. John, like any thoughts on your end about all this?
Oh, so how long has this been publication?
It's a series of 3 miniseries. So basically, it was ongoing for like say 3 years. I think that's how often they were putting out the like each new miniseries.
All right. Well, that sounds cool. Um, so do you know what you're going to talk about next time?
Okay, hopefully next time my copy of the final volume of East of West will have arrived, and I'll be talking about that. If not, well, it's like I've got other ideas, but we'll see how those go.
Hey, there's always other ideas. So hey, we'll check in next time on Comic Picks by the Glick.
Laters.